Okay, so in this video we're going to start looking at the rotations for each die, and we're going to skip over the 100 on this one, but we'll do some examples, but we'll do the 100 in a future video. So right now we have the rotations for the six-sided die here. Let's cut that out, and then we'll put a function in its place. We'll call it rotate dice. And here we're going to give it an argument, dice type, because we need to know what type of dice they are um, generating, and also we need to know what it's rotating to. So we have this randroll variable that we created here. Okay, so rotate dice, we have two arguments, dice type and randroll. And actually, I'm just going to copy this. Oh, no, I already copied the other code first. So let's just do this here. Oops. Define rand, or not rand, rotate dice. And we had dice type. And we have randroll as the arguments. And then we can say if dice type is equal to six-sided dice, then we can do all of the rotation stuff for the six-sided, except that we don't want it to be commented out. And this multi-line comment that you have here is actually like a multi-line string if with the three ticks. So that's why it's using a tick rather than, I don't have any comments in here right now, but typically you would do a comment with like a hashtag. This is a comment, but if you're doing a multi-line, you can do a multi-line string and then it'll read it as a comment. But basically, we have this argument here that will take the dice type here and then apply it to the dice roll. And over here, I called it randroll because that's what we called it up here because we're getting it from that. But this is an argument. We can really name it whatever we want. And since I have this already built out with die roll, I'm going to keep it that way. So that way we don't have to rename that for each one of these here. And do we have die roll up here? I think I might have deleted it at some point, but yeah. So now we can just say if dice type is equal to coin, then we can do something like mc dot set adder and coin dot, or actually I think we called it d2 dot rotate x, I think. So we would say if die roll is equal to 1. What do we want to set this to? Which I don't know yet. I'm just going to put 0. It might be 180, but we'll leave that as a placeholder right now. And paste this here, and then this will be, if it gets to 2, then this will be 180. It might be reversed. We'll check when we roll it, but I think this will be correct. So let's copy this and paste it in here, run it. If coin, and let's do 10 of them. So obviously that did not work. If we rotate X, that should give us, yeah, that's rotate X. So if it's at 0, that is 1, and if we switch it to 180, that should be 0, or 2, sorry. It's giving us a 0, that's how we designed it. So I'll do that as well in the code here. So with the random roll right here, we can change this from 0 to 1. So that way we have it correct the way we designed it. And then over here, I guess the thing that we'd have to figure out is what the coin is named. I do think it starts off at D2. That is correct. So D2.rotate X, that is correct. And then now this will be 0 and 1 instead of 1 and 2. It's a lowercase d. This is rotate X. I don't know, let's try one more time. And this is happening after we've randomized a value here. We'll copy it. We'll copy all this and run it and see what's happening. Here, coin, and coin. So we're not getting any random values. Or rotated values. Let's see if we do the 6-sided. It is not getting any of its rotations either. So that means that we are not getting the code being read over there. So let's troubleshoot this. This will be a good example to see some troubleshooting in action. Here, I can try, well, we are printing out each one from there. So let's say we print rand roll. And oh, that's what's happening. Haha, I'm silly. Okay, so let's go to the rand rolled function. Right here. So we're not returning anything at this function. So let's make sure that we do that. So we can say, which means that we're going to need to separate this out into its own variable here. we'll call this dice or die roll. And in the line before it, we'll say die roll equals that random number, and then we want to return die roll. So on each one of these here, for the different if statements, we're going to want to make sure that we return die roll. So since I have that copied out, I'll do that now. And then on top of that, we'll want to take this value here and change that to be die roll and put that as a variable. Die roll equals whatever that expression was. Die roll and die roll equals, we put 1 out of 20, then we'll do the same thing for 1 out of 12. Oops, too much. I just want the random part. Die roll equals die roll die roll equals, then put that function in almost to the point where I have fixed this issue. Die roll equals, and make sure you have the indentation correct or else that can cause issues. That's for the 188. Now we gotta do 6. Die roll equals, and last one, die roll die roll equals, paste that there. Let's copy this, and this should fix our issue that we had here. So now we're getting rotations on the 6-sided, and we are getting rotations on the coin. Can have multiple of them, and it should have that. The only thing that I'm noticing with the coin, since I changed the values, is that 1 is acting as the 1 and 2 is acting as 1. So we have to inverse that. So let's go back to our code. And here on the rotations here. So I'm just going to change this to be 1, and this will be for the 0. Or we can do it the other way. We had it 0 and make this 180 and make sure that this is 0. That way we keep it all going in order. Okay. So let's copy that, and we should be able to run this with the coin. Do 10 of them so that we can see really quickly, and they're matching up now, which is great. So let's do one more die rotation, And then I will do all the other rotations off screen. So with the here we can do if dice type equals four-sided dice, then I can go in and say if die roll is equal to 1, what do I want the values to be? Let's check really quick. I think the default value on the dice right now is 4. So let's just roll 1 here. Yeah, so if we're at 0, 0, 0, that's going to equal 4. So we'll save that for the last value. But 1 should be MC dot set adder, and then we're going to say d4, but inside of parentheses, d4 dot rotate z, and that will be at 110. And I have these values written down on the side so that I know exactly what I want to be. So that's the z value, but we want to make sure we have x and y, and each one of these are going to be 0. So I am going to copy this and do 2, 3, 4. So I know already 4 is at 0, 0, 0. Okay, and then for 2 and 3, we will want to make sure that we adjust those rotations. And 2 will be negative 107, 10, and negative 29. And then for this will be 107, negative 10, and negative 29. There you go. Let's see if that works. Copy all this. And let's paste it in here. So we already know the coin and the six-sided work. Oh yeah, it's d4, d4. So let's make that adjustment in the name. It'll be d4 underscore d4. So I'm gonna paste that over each one of these. Probably would have been better to fix the name, but oh well, we'll make it this way. Okay, it's the only dice that we have an issue with. A little bit of an issue with. So let's paste this here. And let's try the D4 again. So 4, 4, 2, 4, 3, 4, 1. Cool. It looks like we have it all working properly. And we can just do multiple of them just to make sure they all come out differently, which it does. Perfect. So in between videos, I'll just make sure to do this for all the dice except the 100 dice. And we'll look at the 100 dice cited, or the percentile dice, to see what we can do to make that work properly. All right, see you guys in the next lesson.